In this lesson, we'll discuss the benefits of working with layout, and we'll also customize a title block template. Hello there, welcome to our course in Sketchup. So what we're going to do today is we're going to take this concept and we're going to learn how to sell this concept using layout and creating a powerful presentation that tells all the main concepts of your idea. Imagine, if you will, we're basically still in the conceptual phase, and we're at the point now where we'd like to enter into the design and development phase. But first, we need to present our concept and do it in a way that's going to be able to tell the story of our design and our idea. And the way to do that is actually to work with layout. So what exactly is layout? Well, I'll kind of show you what layout is. So if I go here to online real quick and I go to SketchUp here, the SketchUp blog, SketchUp update, this really shows the power of using layout. So what this is basically a two-dimensional presentation. Very professional, very clean looking. But this is all derived from one model. So you're not making several drawings, several elevations. And a lot of this is creating a very streamlined process by linking your two-dimensional presentation environment to your 3D modeling environment, creating a presentation a breeze. So you can see here, we've got title blocks we can work with, and we can customize it with logos. We've got three-dimensional drawings with all kinds of annotation, dimensioning, elevations here. We can even get really good-looking, powerful color perspectives to really tell the story of our building. We can bring in floor plans, either from DWGs that are in our work environment within SketchUp, or we can create section views to create those floor plans, and also to create section views to take a peek inside of our building. You can also see that we can have shadows on, which can really create elevations to pop and really help tell the story of your design concept. So now that you can see where we're basically going to head here, I'm going to get out of this, and I'm going to jump back to our work environment. So now you can really grasp what layout is. I'm going to reiterate a little bit. It's taking this area here, your 3D modeling environment, linking it to an area where we can actually create powerful 2D presentations. So with that in mind, it's going to be very important that you're very meticulous about how you model your building. You want to make sure you have things on layers. You want to make sure things are grouped if they need to be grouped. You want to have components. You want to have descriptions and names inside. This, and you'll see this a little bit later on, will actually streamline the process for when you begin annotating your design and your drawings as well. So what we have here is basically it's a conceptual model at this point. Floor plans haven't been in place, but what we do have is all our main building elements. So I'll show you what I'm working with here. So we have our exterior of our building, and I'm going to right click and I'm going to hide that temporarily. But we also have floor plates. We have our structure here. You can see the structure all throughout. We have a lateral bracing system kind of throughout the structure. We have a building core here as well. So how you know you're on the right track as far as your modeling is, making sure that things are grouped together and you have descriptions in place. So I'll show you what I mean. So when this one was modeled, I can right click on this and I can go to Entity Info. And what this tells me here is it lets me know what layer it's on. It gives me a definition here, but I can also apply a name to this if I wanted to. So in this case, I may actually call this one floor plates. I'm just going to repeat what I have for my definition, just for simplicity purposes. So once we have that in there, a little bit later on, once we begin annotating that information will actually be pulled from the information we have inside of each one of our components throughout our building. Very powerful stuff, and I'm really excited to be able to show you that. And we'll jump into that a little bit later. So what I'm going to unhide, so I'm going to go ahead and do File, we'll go to Edit, Unhide, All, and I'm going to bring back my building exterior. But what I do want to do is I want to jump into layout from this environment, and it's very easy to do actually. So if you're at the point in your conceptual modeling, and we are in this particular project where we want to start selling this idea and bringing things over to sheets, really all you need to do at this point, I'm just going to get in as close as I can here, just for an initial view, a real quick setup. And I'm just going to go to front view really quick, and I'm going to keep my perspective. So if I go to view here, or camera, excuse me, you go to camera. If you click on perspective, it'll just give you that parallel projection, which we will use a little bit later on for elevations. But I do want to keep this in perspective just for now, just to show off kind of the edge and the line work for this building. But to link this up to our layout space, simply go to File and scroll down just a little bit here and you'll see Send to Layout. And when you do that, it'll tell you, hey, you need to save your model before you move on. So I'm going to go ahead and save it. And we'll save once again. We'll go ahead and kind of copy over what's already in place. And the reason I have to kind of save is because I did that hide and unhide move here. So now once you send it to layout, it automatically brings up layout for you, opens it up for you. And what it does is it gives you an option to kind of work with some templates. And we have a lot to work with. So as I scroll down here, take a look at all the options we have. Letter, portrait, tabloid, landscape. We even have storyboard style work to work with. And this is just underneath this particular area. So we also have paper we can work with. So if I kind of expand this, we have graph paper, plain paper. We have a storyboard setup as kind of like I mentioned. But we're more in the AEC side of things, so we're going to go with more a title block. So I'm going to go title block and take a look at all these options we have here. Contemporary, modern, rounded, really cool stuff. So what this does, it gives me an opportunity to basically cut my time in half for presentation. I don't have to go back in and create all these elements for my title block. I already have a title block in place. So what I'll do here is I'm going to go ahead and pick one that's going to work for me. So maybe we want to go with our traditional, we'll keep it pretty simple. And I want to go with maybe an Arch D style, maybe a landscape, actually a sidebar. I like the Arch D sidebar. We'll say open here. And what it'll do, it'll open up that template for us. And it automatically brought in that initial view. Now, the great thing is we're not stuck with this one particular image that we have in place. So we'll get into working with images and editing images a little bit later. But what I do want to do, the first thing I want to do is I want to begin customizing this. And I also want to control which elements in my title block are going to be unique, or in our case, our images, our pictures, our details. And I also wanted to control which images, or which elements, I should say, on this title block are going to be consistent and are going to remain every time I add a new sheet, such as my logo, or maybe how this grid is laid out here for revisions, and maybe even for a project description. We may want those elements to be repeated every time we add a new page. And that's actually what we'll jump into in the next lesson. So I'll meet you in the next lesson where we'll start customizing our title block, and then we'll make some additions and some changes to some of the images we're going to bring on to the sheet.